Welcome to another edition of TRANSLOGIC, brought to you by Chevrolet. I'm Bradley Hasemeyer. Today is the battle of the motorized bicycles. Later, we're going to be looking at a high-tech, top-of-the-line electric one. But right now, we're at Derringer Cycles looking at a vintage-inspired, gas-powered one. All right, so here we are with Adrian. Where did this come from?
Somewhere deep, dark in my mind. I grew up riding motorcycles and riding bicycles. I always kind of had a hankering for something that was in between. One of my favorite styles of bikes was board track racing motorcycles. Board track racing was the most popular spectator sport in America in the early 20s.
Wow, the roaring 20s.
Exactly. They were basically overgrown bicycles with overgrown engines in them, no brakes, no throttle. They went 100 miles an hour.
How did you decide that there was a market for this?
Well, I built one for myself. I rode it to a local place here. People went totally nuts for it. A guy literally came over, looked at it for a while, walked back over to his friends, and ended up pulling $5,000 cash and offered it to me on the spot for the bike I had, the first bike.
And you took it?
I actually did not take it.
Whoa!
Because
you didn't take it?
First of all, it was the first one, which of course was later stolen. So.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
So you could have sold it for $5 grand and you sold it for $0. Where do you get the parts for these things?
Parts are coming from everywhere on these. The saddle, for instance, is from Brooks in England. Brooks were actually used on the original board track racing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, engines coming from Japan. Rear hub is from Japan. Front hub is from Great Britain as well. It's a Sturmey Archer,
wow.
70mm drum. The old ones were more like a traditional moped in that you would pedal and it would turn the countershaft sprocket and the clutch in the engine.
And start up.
The new ones actually have a freewheel on the output shaft of the gearbox, so when you're pedaling it, there's no extra drag.
So what would be like a top speed?
Up to 35 miles an hour.
Well, it's definitely a unique bike. I love like the old school styling with it, and it looks awesome. So I would actually love to drive one.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, now we're getting going riding this thing like a regular bicycle, and it's heavy because there's an engine strapped onto it. Yes, it's heavy. You know what it feels like if you're in like a spin class or you're at the gym or something, and you tighten down the front of the bike just a little bit? It's kind of what it feels like. If you were somewhere where you were wanting to stop and go, stop and go, stop and go, would not be a good idea to use this as a regular bike. Enough of this. I'm not on a moped, motorcycle, bike, scooter thing just so I can bike. Time to ride. Engine on. Oh, the bicycling is so much easier now. It's like amazing. It's like wearing flippers while you're swimming. It totally multiplies the energy that you're putting out. The thing about this is it's just so much fun. I mean, it's retro, which is awesome. It'd be cheap as all get out to use gas. I mean, like 100 miles to the gallon. If you're in a place where you don't have to really travel on the interstates or highways or whatever, this makes a lot of sense. We are here with Harlan at Hollywood Electrics. Harlan, thanks for being here with us. So tell me what we're going to be looking at today.
We're going to be looking at the E TidalForce M750x 2.0. It's the Montague Paratrooper folding frame, TIG welded aluminum. The Marines actually use it. They'll fold it in half, strap it to their backs, jump out of planes, and they got silent heatless operations.
Wow.
It's got a 1,000-watt brushless DC motor, 36-volt, 10-amp-hour nickel metal hydride battery pack.
Okay.
And that's the most reliable, stable battery pack. It's the same battery they use in the Prius. There's a little onboard computer. You can dial down the power output. You can also dial in the regenerative braking. So as you're cruising down a hill, add a level of resistance to charge up your batteries. You really can't do without it.
And it's kind of can work as like a downshifting also, coming down a hill, right? It'll slow you down.
Yeah, you got the battery in the front, the motor in the back, gives it a nice even weight distribution front to back. It also keeps the center of gravity low, so it feels more like riding a regular bicycle. The electric drivetrain requires no maintenance.
Huh.
The only maintenance it requires is normal bicycle maintenance. So cables, brakes, tires, you just plug it in and you don't have to worry about it. No oil changes, tune-ups, gas, nothing.
That's awesome. All right, so if you're in this thing and you trim it down, like how fast could you really go in this?
You could do 40, 45 miles an hour,
Okay.
depending on how hard you're pedaling.
I'm hoping I can get a chance to ride one of these.
Yeah.
Think we can make this happen?
Absolutely.
Let's do it. Now from early on, you can tell this is just like a regular bicycle. There's gears that shift. It's actually the same weight as the Derringer, but it feels so much lighter because all the weight is in the front and in the back. If I closed my eyes, I would wreck. But also, I would say I'm on a regular bike. Until you really get it going. Ah! That's so cool. 18, 20, 22, 24, 24. I was pedaling pretty hard. I don't know about 40 miles an hour. I can't really imagine this bike doing 40. Now, I think one reason that this bike makes a big difference, you know, you could take this to work. You could take this to the grocery store, and it feels a little bit more practical. All right, well, that's it for the battle of the motorized bikes. We took a look at the Derringer, a super stylish vintage motorcycle bike thing. Well, it didn't really drive like a bike, but it was pretty sweet looking. And then we got a hold of this thing, all electric, looks like a bike, rides like a bike. Practicality speaking, this is the winner. But if you're going down to the bar, I'd much rather be seen on the Derringer.